Tonight on Primetime Local News, the Lakeland Rustlers women's volleyball team won their third straight national title. The Rotary Club is donating $75,000 to Border City Connects. And we take a look into the archives with this week's edition of Retrospect.
My body's numb. I got the shivers and I'm cold.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Today's weekly Rotary Club of Lloydminster meeting was a special one, with the club awarding a grant to a local organization. The Rotary Club of Lloydminster Legacy Grant of $75,000 was awarded to the Border City Connect Society. The grant money went toward a bus that will help people who need assistance with transportation.
Well, we're Border City Connects, and we're about transportation, leaving no one behind. That's sort of our logo. So if you have some disabilities of any sort, we go ahead and provide transportation for those folks as much as we can, and it's very economical for them.
Border City Connect Society President Otis Rustling says the organization is thrilled that they were awarded the grant and is grateful for the opportunity to use the money to help people.
We looked into applying for it, and we thought, oh well, if we can get $75,000, it'll go a long ways to a new vehicle, and we applied, and sure enough, they decided we were the worthy group, and so we're very proud of that and very thankful for it also.
Another portion of the grant was used by Border City Connects to give their staff mental health training as a way to better serve the community. And it's time now for Retrospect. Here is Nick Hott.
This week on Retrospect, we travel back to 1995 for a look into a program made for journalists to help them prepare to go into war-torn countries.
We're journalists from Canada. We spent the night at the observation post, and now we are moving back to our car.
17 Canadian journalists were learning how to prepare themselves in case they ever have to work in a war-torn country. Camp Wainwright held a war correspondence course dealing with a variety of wartime scenarios.
My body's numb. I got the shivers and I'm cold.
We've gone through mine recognition, checkpoint negotiations, the chemical, biological, nuclear attack threat, and first aid, which is also really good, how to do shrapnel wounds and splinters and just emergency field dressings.
The week-long course is the first of its kind in Canada for English-speaking journalists. Jennifer Westaway has worked in a number of different conflict zones and has witnessed firsthand the dangers journalists can experience.
A shell landed on the Muslim side, and that Italian TV crew never made it out. And what stuck with me out of that is in all the preparations that you can take and how careful you want to be, your flak vest, your helmet, all of those things, you can have an unlucky day. And you got to think about that before you go out there and whether the story that you're going for is really worth getting.
The danger, along with the sights and sounds of war, is becoming more common by the day, making courses like this more important.
I think it's important for people to remember that in the whole Vietnam conflict, less than 100 journalists were killed. In the first 18 months of the Yugoslavian conflict, 52 journalists were killed. So the risks are high.
It's crazy to go in. We don't have experience with any of this kind of stuff, and the most basic things are going to save your life. And if you get at least those basics down, you've improved your chances of coming out. And we cover wars a lot more than we used to. We're out there in conflict areas now because the Canadian Army is out there as peacekeepers, and if they're there, we ought to be there.
For the most part, Canada is a conservative nation, and journalists in our country aren't thrown into wartime situations. But over the past week, camera operators and reporters have been thrown into wartime situations and have been taught how to survive in them. At Camp Wainwright, Jim Unger, NewsHour.
Next, we jump forward to the year 2000 for a look into how a musician utilizes his skills for animations and how the internet has helped him and his group.
He started out as a hobby musician, but today Don Ray is a local computer analyst. In his spare time, he still finds time to indulge his creative side. Ray is involved in a technologically advanced animation project.
The project itself is a parody of the Star Trek The Next Generation series, a very entertaining parody of the series itself and what Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future actually is.
And
skin problems have been eradicated. Forgive me for noticing, number one, but that's one heck of a sit you have there. Physical appearance is no longer a social obsession. It is indeed huge, sir.
there is another element that makes this project intriguing. Two of Ray's partners live in Australia, while one lives in the U.S. Ray has never met them. All of their business and communication is done through the internet. It's another indication of how technology is changing business. But Ray says it suits him just fine.
Well, it actually works fairly well because you can't get into an argument. And all you can do is just send a note to somebody, and it really is an interesting way of doing things.
Technology will solve all our problems. What is our progress, Beta? Excellent, Captain. I require only one more Thunderstone to evolve my Pikachu to level 47. Beta!
Ray's job is to assemble and compose the audio for the project, something he spends hours working on.
And there's another continuous string that's happening in the background. Right about here, you'll hear a French horn start to come in.
When the project is completed later this year, Ray and his partners expect to market the film on the internet to a global audience. Despite the fact that he lives in small-town Alberta, Ray doesn't think his rural roots have stood in the way of his contribution.
Being in a small town doesn't seem to hinder you when you have the internet available as a facility. In this day and age, we can communicate right across the planet without too much effort or energy, and it's just a fantastic thing to have such a facility available.
Rochelle Chandria, NewsHour.
And that's all for this week of Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consulate.
I'm joined now by Lane Hofford. He's going to give us a look at the weather. And so we got a little bit of snow last night and early this morning. Are we expecting to see a bit more snow and those temperatures dipping down again, or are we hoping that March will continue this nice weather that we had towards the end of February?
It is looking like we've hit a bump in the road for maybe just kind of a little bit of a stretch, but it is looking like after we get over this, we are going to be seeing those nice spring temperatures. But yeah, for today, we got a mix-up in the weather, and it's maybe not a mix-up that most people wanted to see. It's -10 right now in Lloydminster with that wind blowing at 19 kilometers an hour. That's making it feel closer to -18. So that is a little more typical of what we can expect in March. I guess for fear of us sounding like a broken record, the weather decided to throw a bit of a curveball in there. We got a few clouds and that sun is still out, so we are still getting kind of that nice springtime weather, just mixed in with a little bit of snow and that those cooler temperatures. And you can see that is the same pretty well everywhere. Maybe a little bit warmer out in Edmonton at 0. Vegreville and St. Paul are at -5. Bonnyville and Provost -7. Vermilion and Wainwright at -6. Marwayne -7. Cold Lake -12 and Lac La Biche -9. Over in Isle La Crosse, it's -15. Pierceland and St. Walburger at -10. Green Lake -11. Meadow Lake -14. Maidstone -8. Macklin -6. And North Battleford is at -11. Tonight, North Battleford, it's going to drop down a whopping 1 degree to -12. It'll be partly cloudy. That wind won't be blowing quite as strong as it is here in Lloydminster. It's going to be blowing at 11 kilometers an hour, so it's sure to likely feel, maybe a little bit in those -teens. It'll probably feel, maybe even close to -20, just kind of depending on, how that wind decides to blow. And tomorrow in North Battleford, it's going to be a similar day to today. It'll be cloudy, -3, and that wind will be at 13 kilometers an hour. So it will be a little bit warmer, but still kind of not very nice looking out. But, we take what we can get out in the prairies, and it's not a blizzard, so that is always a bonus. Now, tonight in Cold Lake, it's going to be -12 and mostly cloudy, and that wind will be at 11 kilometers an hour. So a very similar night to what they'll be experiencing in North Battleford. So it's looking to be quite the same all across this kind of region here. In Cold Lake tomorrow, it'll be mostly cloudy and not as cold. It's actually going to be above 0 at a nice +1. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, it's looking like. And tonight in Lloydminster, it's going to be -11 and mostly cloudy with that wind blowing at 13 kilometers an hour. So it's not going to change much from what the weather's like tonight. It's just going to be dark out. Now, taking a look at tomorrow's forecast, at 6 a.m. it'll be mostly cloudy and -10, noon -5 and cloudy, 6 p.m. it's going to get up to -1 and cloudy, and then midnight -6. Now, taking a look at the 3-day forecast, tomorrow there will be a high of 0 and it will be cloudy. Wednesday, a high of -4, lower clouds, and Thursday, a high of -5. That is your first look at our evening weather. We'll have more news after the break.
The Lakeland Rustlers women's volleyball team has returned from Durham, Ontario as national champions once again. The Rustlers won the gold, defeating the Humber Hawks 3-1 to win their third straight national title in a row, capping off an outstanding undefeated season.
It's been so special. Our team has been able to stack championships like that, I think because we've all sticked around and been here for several years. To be able to learn and grow together as a team has been awesome, and we've been able to get the results that we've wanted from staying here and committing ourselves to it, so we couldn't be more happy.
The Rustlers will now be looking forward to the off-season, where they will start the work to try and win a fourth straight national title.
We have a lot of pieces coming in that will be very important to fill those spots. But yeah, I think we should be able to come back strong again next year, filling in those few spots.
NHL alumni Jason Strudwick is coming to Lloydminster on March 22nd for the Border City Card Show. And our star Lazo got the chance to speak with Strudwick to learn more.
Today I'm joined by a certain NHL alumni who's going to be visiting Lloydminster for the upcoming Border City Card Show, Jason Strudwick. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jason.
You got it. You got it. I'm happy to do it.
Awesome. So you're going to be one of the NHL alumni guests for this year's Border City Card Show. And so what are you looking forward the most about the event?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I've never been. I love hockey cards. I love sports cards and memorabilia. I've been to many growing up, but I've never been someone who signed autographs there. So I'm very excited. It's my first time where I'll be signing at a card show, and I've been to many growing up where I saw, guys that I saw play or sign autographs. So I'm excited. One of my sons is going to come with me. He loves sports cards as well. So he's going to come with me on the drive, and then he'll spend the time touring around and look at the cards, just like I will before and after. Well, I appreciate that people are still interested in getting my autograph. As a player, I wasn't Wayne Gretzky, but I played for quite a long time. And I'm very proud to live here in Edmonton. So I meet a lot of people all over Alberta when I go and visit different communities for whatever reason. And so it'll be another community in Lloyd. I've been there a few times for events, and I'm looking forward to meet people and talking to them and trying to answer their questions about anything about my career or hockey related.
That's so fun. And so what inspired you to participate in this year's card show? Because you said this is your first time, right? You've never been actually there signing.
Yeah, so it's I've been asked a few times in the past for this card show, and it's not that I didn't want to come, it's that I was busy. I have 3 relatively young kids, so they're fairly active, and so it just worked that this weekend coming up we have nothing. So it's pretty exciting. I'm excited to come down, and I guess I think that I grew up falling in love with sport by watching it, but also through magazines and sports cards. And I collected many sports cards. I remember I got Wayne Gretzky's rookie card for making the honor roll in grade 8. My mom said if I made the honor roll, she'd buy me that card, and that card was like $50 back then or less. Good investment by my mom. So I think that's part of growing and falling in love with the sports is the collection of cards or sports memorabilia. So I'm still into it. I still go and visit card shops. I don't buy as much as I used to, but my boys are really into it. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see it, and to be around it and to be a small part of this one. I'm very excited and honored.
And so, as a special guest for this year, what are some of the things that you'll be doing there? What's the agenda for you as a special guest?
Yeah. Well, mostly, I'll come and I'm looking forward to looking at all the cards. Like I think that, and all the things that are there, you never know what you're going to find. And I think that's what I love about when I used to go to these types of events when I was younger. You just never know what you're going to find. What the cards you're going to be like, oh man, I gotta get this card. Then I had to negotiate with my dad alone. Yeah, because as a 10-year-old, you don't have a lot of cash floating around. But you get a loan from your dad, and I expect my boys will be trying to do the same thing with me as we kind of tour around before and after when I'm signing.
Question. So, how do you feel like growing up and like collecting these cards, and then now like you can sign cards with you on it, basically?
It's very surreal. Growing up and going to whatever convenience store to buy packs of cards with gum inside. I never thought that one day mine would be in there. And I don't think my rookie card is worth as much as Wayne Gretzky's rookie card. Probably close, but not quite the same. And but it was just very special. I remember the first time that I was given one of my hockey cards, I couldn't believe it. And then kids would ask me to sign them. So to me, even now, it's really special. I was lucky enough to play a long time professional hockey, and then many years in the NHL, and now I can help give back a little bit here and there. But it still is really neat when someone asks for my autograph or brings my card, because when I was a youngster, I was buying all these cards for guys that I watched, and then now I'm not. I was that guy. So I think the problem, though, my mom has most of my cards. I'm going to be honest. She bought all of them. So I don't know. Maybe that drives the price up. Maybe she's a really wise investor, but I think she's wallpapered most of her house with my hockey cards. So if you can't find them, you know where they are.
Absolutely. Well, this sounds very exciting. And thank you so much for doing the interview with me today and penciling me in with having kids and everything. I bet it's just
Yeah.
been really busy out there. And yeah, thank you so much for doing the interview with me today, Jason. And I hope you have a blast at the upcoming Border City Card Show. That's once again going to be at the Gold Horse Casino on March 22nd.
Can't wait. Talk to you guys then.
And now we will take a look at your adorable pets with our pet picks of the day.
Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
A performance called Illumidance is coming to the Vic Juba Community Theatre March 26th. Our Randy Cormish got the chance to speak with someone involved to learn more.
Today, I'm joined by Gwen Mottram, who is the chairman of the Lloydminster Regional Theatre Foundation. And today, we're just going to be talking about the Illumidance performance that is coming up. So thank you so much for joining me today, Gwen. Would you be able to just start off by telling me a bit about the Illumidance performance and what people should expect when attending?
So Illumidance is coming on Wednesday, March 26th at the Vic Juba Community Theatre, and it features Rainbow Dance Theatre in a very unique dance production that has special effects. And there is a reception starting at 6:30 that includes 3 complimentary desserts as well as a silent auction. And then the performance is at 8 p.m.
Okay, perfect. And has Illumidance ever been to Lloydminster before, or is this the first time?
They have not been to the Vic Juba before, so we're very excited. They've toured throughout the world, so yeah, it should be a great performance.
Yeah. And how is this event so unique or different compared to other performances that you guys have held?
Right. So with this dance group, you actually won't be able to see their faces. It's black lighting, so they'll have special effects on their bodies that gives a glow in the dark experience for you. And so, yeah, it's quite unique.
Yeah,
Especially
it sounds unique. Yeah. And how and where are people able to get tickets for the event?
So tickets are available at Victuba Community Theatre. You can call the box office at 780-872-7400, or you can go online at victubatheatre.ca.
Okay, perfect. And then what sort of experience do you think the audience will get from this performance?
Well, it's always fun to see something different, right? Like it'll be a total surprise. It's not something that they've seen before, so that's what I like about going to the theater, seeing something completely different. This event as well is a fundraiser for Victuba Community Theatre. We are fundraising for some automated stage lighting at the theater. It's a multi-year project. The cost of the project is $150,000. So that is the purpose of this fundraising event.
Oh, okay, awesome. And then is there
And we also, I'm sorry, we also
No, go
thought
ahead.
that because this dance group features black lighting and our fundraising event is for lighting, that it was the perfect choice for this event.
Yeah, that works perfect, honestly. And then, yeah, is there just anything else you want to add for people that might be interested in attending or that are thinking of attending?
So we just added a trip experience to our silent option that features a trip for 5 nights in Iceland.
Oh, wow, that sounds awesome. But yeah, that's all the questions I have for you today, Gwen. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this, and I look forward to hearing how the performance turns out.
And coming up after the break, we'll have an extended look at weather.
Welcome back. We're going to take one last look at your evening weather here. Right now in Lloydminster, it's -10, that wind blowing at 19 kilometers an hour, making it feel closer to -18, sorry. So definitely a little bit of a decline from what we've had, the past couple of weeks. It's, feeling a little bit more like those typical mid-March temperatures, some sun and clouds. Fortunately, though, the days do keep getting longer, and we're eventually going to reach that spring equinox pretty soon. You can see out in Alberta, it is a little bit nicer than what we're experiencing in Lloydminster. Whitecourt and Edmonton are at 0, Athabasca -5, Edson is +1, Jasper +3, Rocky Mountain House and Red Deer are -1. Cold Lake a little bit cooler at -12, Prince Albert and Saskatoon -12, North Battleford -11, Meadow Lake -14, and North Melfort -17. So that cold weather seems to be coming from Saskatchewan. Now moving up north in Uranium City and Stony Rapids, it's -19, Wollaston Lake -20, South End Reindeer and Flin Flon -18, and La Loche and Buffalo Narrows -16. Fort Chipewyan is -20, High Level -17, Fort McMurray -13, Peace River and Slave Lake -8, and Grand Prairie -3. Moving down south, it's quite a bit nicer in Banff and Medicine Hat at +1, Calgary +2, Lethbridge +3, and Coronation -7. Kindersley is at -8, Yorkton -13, Moose Jaw -11, Regina -10, Swift Current -7, and Estevan -6. Tonight, Lloydminster, it's going to get down to -11, and it's going to be a mostly cloudy night. Similar nighttime temperatures all across the region. Meadow Lake -12, as well as Paradise Hill, Bonnyville -11, and pretty well everywhere is similar. In Murnum and Wainwright, it's -11, and Calgary a little bit warmer at -5. Now taking a look at your 7-day forecast, you can see we do have a little bit of a not as great week ahead compared to what we've seen the past couple of weeks. Tomorrow will be cloudy with a high of 0. Wednesday, lower clouds and colder with a high of -4. Then Thursday, cold and breezy in the afternoon with a high of -5. Then Friday, we're going to get a little bit more snow. And after that, more cloudy days, but we won't be seeing as much precipitation. It's kind of looking like a bump in the road before we officially hit spring.
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you all so much for watching Primetime Local News. For Lane Hofford and the rest of us here at PTLN, I'm Thomas Wildman. Have a great rest of your evening.